Hey guys, welcome to episode 4, Heather, of our Coast to Coast Lifestyles. How are you today?
I am doing so good. How are you?
Good. It's actually getting what we consider very cold. Like everybody's all
Oh,
pumped up
goodness.
and everything. It's actually has been getting down into the 30s. So, which is very cold for us. So,
Oh, boy. Oh, man. We also have been getting cold for us, but to the point where so I have a little lake outside my window, but we're in the very shallow end of the lake, and we had it iced over this morning.
wow.
Yeah,
Well,
we've been lows in like the mid 20s.
our windshields have been freezing, so we get ice. It's just not on our bodies of water. So speaking of water, last week we did waterfront properties, and that was super interesting because our waterfront properties are very, very different. Because ours were kind of more centered around, of course, the beach. We do have some river houses and things. Maybe we could do a separate episode about that one, but
Yeah.
primarily a lot of our waterfront properties, the beach. And if you missed last week, guys, Heather, like you could see Canada and all kinds of fun things on those properties. And then, of course, we got to talk about the price differences a little more. So, our industries are very, very different, and that is what we're going to talk about today. So, Heather, I was like, I'm super excited to hear. We've kind of touched on it, but some different industries and maybe like some cool people that live there for people that missed our previous episode. So, take it away.
Ooh. Sure. So I actually had to pull up a list for like all the amazing companies that have started here because I think Washington is kind of like under realized at how much we have going on here.
Mhm.
So like a couple of the big ones, for instance, that everybody knows of is we have Amazon that started here. They actually started in Bellevue, even though their headquarters is in Seattle. And Bellevue is like 15 minutes east of Seattle. We also had Boeing start here. We had Costco start in Kirkland. So when you see Kirkland's signature as their like generic brand, that's because it actually started in the city of Kirkland, which is also about 20 minutes away from Seattle. Um, Dairy Gold Milk started here. Eddie Bauer Clothing started here. Expedia Travel started here. Funko Pop started here, which I did not know until recently. um, a couple of well-known pizza places started here, like Mod Pizza. If you've ever heard of that, I'm not sure if that's on the East Coast or not.
Oh yeah, actually, we don't
Yeah.
have one here on the Gulf Coast, but we've got one over in Mobile, Alabama. So yes,
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
very, very good. Had it
Yep.
recently. It was very, very good.
Yep. God, what else? Nordstrom store started here. The really fun ones is T-Mobile's American headquarters and Nintendo's American headquarters is also from here.
No way.
Yeah. So, and plus so many more. Red Robin started here. REI started here. Basically, a lot of outdoor brands started here. Starbucks Coffee started here. God, and so many more. Like I'm scrolling through and I'm like, I will be here all day if I mention all these. Uh, but what's really interesting is even though we really have a little bit of everything here, like we have a really big gaming scene here, hence the Nintendo, hence, whatever.
Mhm.
We have a really big outdoor scene, like I said, so the REIs and Eddie Bauers of the world. But more than anything in recent history, we've become way more known for our tech side. Like people
Mhm.
who are in tech, whether they be engineers or program managers in the tech field or whatever. Seattle, we basically are like the Silicon Valley 2.0, which is also kind of reflected in some of our home prices, which we've been over before. But that's one of the reasons why, because we have a lot of that technology money here. And we were basically one of the first big cloud regions here. So yeah, it's a lot of stuff going on. But with that, because of Amazon, Microsoft, I forgot to say Microsoft, I think, because of Amazon, because of Microsoft, we also have Jeff Bezos that lives here, and we have Paul Allen used to live here before he sadly passed away. And Bill Gates lives here, and the Nordstrom family lives here. I know I'm forgetting some, but basically all of those big brands I mentioned, obviously their founders are in this area. Which kind of fun fact, I don't know if we touched on this last week, but 2 weeks ago, the top 10 most expensive zip codes in the country came out. And number 9 was Medina, which is where a lot of those billionaires that I just mentioned live. And that's one of the reasons why it's one of the most expensive zip codes. So yeah. It's a lot of fun stuff.
So if you want to start a really big company, move to the Seattle area. That's what I'm hearing.
Yep. And honestly, our region too has really, really, really good incentives for startups. So they're not quite like Silicon Valley incentives, but they're still really, really good. So we do actually have a ton of startups that start here. A really big startup that started here, and it's still making its way around. So I don't know if people have heard of it, but Smartsheet is a big one that started here, which is basically like a program project management company. They're kind of like Excel on steroids. But it's a pretty cool little program.
Yeah. That's going to be the next big thing, huh?
Yeah, it's. I mean, there's a lot of really, really big companies that started here, but that one I think is a pretty big one I know of. And then there's a couple of. I have a friend who like his thing is working with startups, and that's all he really works for. So I'm very familiar with the startup world around here because of him.
And I'm sure it kind of builds on each other. It builds on itself, right? Because then you have all these amazing companies that are headquartered there. And so then you have people going there for jobs. And then those people maybe are starting new startups and so on and so forth. So very super cool. And I actually had recently met someone from that area, but we were kind of talking about all the interesting things. So I've learned so much since we've been together. Our industry is, so like you've got the tech, right? And we have like water. So I've got a few links just really to keep me on track. But so we've got pretty much I don't want to say everything, but the majority of our industry kind of centers around the Gulf, right? Because we've got the port here. So obviously that brings a lot of industries with it. And then we actually off the coast, this is one of the biggest things off the coast is going to be like Stennis Space Center. So, and obviously that's NASA. So that's super cool. And we've got, some different universities and there's a lot of education and research that goes on here. And also because of the water. And then, of course, I love gulfcoast.org. If anyone ever, this is my plug for gulfcoast.org. If you ever want to have people that are interested in visiting or relocating, this is definitely one of my number one resources. But you can do a gator tour. So that's fun. And then we've got just, a lot of different ship islands. So our beach is actually man-made. The sand was actually imported. We've actually got the largest man-made beach in the United States for sure, but I mean, maybe in the world. I don't know.
Wow.
So Ship Island is actually one of our islands that are a little further out, but if you go out there, you kind of have more of that beach type water that we don't have as much because we have those barrier islands and we have the Mississippi River running into the Gulf right near us. And then, obviously beaches. So that's super fun. And then we touched on this previously, but we actually have a pretty big hospitality and casino industry. So we have quite a few casinos. This one, for those that missed it, it's part of like the Bellagio chain. Hard Rock, we have Margaritaville is not a casino, but we have that. And so lots and lots of hospitality industry here. And then the food, we're just gonna have to do a whole episode on food because I'm interested to hear about that too. Different types of food. that are over your way. But we've got a lot of influence from a lot of different cultures around the globe when it comes to that. And of course, the seafood. And then a lot of military. We've got Keesler Air Force Base, it's a huge training base here. And then we have the CB base, which is a construction battalion for the Navy. And then we do have some other smaller pockets, but that's two of our major bases over here. And then, of course, NASA. So,
yeah, awesome. Yeah, NASA. So I haven't been to the one in Mississippi, but I've been to the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. And I have a friend who works at the Texas one. And oh my God, like if you ever get a chance to visit any of the NASA space centers, they're usually really, really cool. Like they have some cool stuff there.
Definitely.
But you also reminded for me too about military. I totally didn't even think about that. Like we also have a lot of military here between JBLM or Joint Base Lewis McChord, which is Army and Air Force. And then we have Everett, Whidbey, and Bremerton for Navy. Yeah, there's a big military presence in like just a few states. I feel like have a massive military presence. Yeah. Oh man, well that's really cool though. I really need to get my way out there one of these days.
Yeah, we're gonna have to visit you. Well, that would be epic. We'll have like an in-person.
Yes.
We will explore together. Yes, that would be awesome.
Heck yes, that'd be amazing. I can do one down there with you. You do one up here with me, and it'll be fabulous.
Yes, absolutely. So I don't know if next week our numbers will be out. Every month we're going to do another just quick little update so we can kind of compare our markets, and that'll be fun. And then soon we're going to have actually a guest speaker that will compare their market, and we'll have a battle of the markets kind of deal. So be on the lookout for that. And gosh, I just feel like we could talk all day, but we don't have all day. So yeah, so if not, I think we should totally dig into this food thing, you know?
I agree. I think that'll be a good one.
I don't know, y'all big foodies over there?
We are. We definitely have a big Asian influence with our food over here.
Okay.
And a few pockets of other, oh my God, deliciousness.
Very cool. Well, all right, guys. Well, we will see you next Wednesday, 1 p.m. Pacific and 3 p.m. Central.
Yay! I'm so excited.
Yes.